friends and family, to part 2 of sewing a table runner, or what I'm calling a stereo scarf, for my entryway. And what I am doing is using a vintage style pattern. And so far, what we've done is been on the struggle bus a little bit, but this is what we have. And y'all can't see the decorative pom-poms, but you might notice that there are now 5 glass head pins. They look like this. So what I've done is I stretched out my table runner and I took the ornaments that I'm going to use, and I kind of held them up and decided how many I wanted to apply. A lot of times, guys, it's good to use an odd number. That's a decorating thing. I am certainly no interior decorator, but I did think that 5 came out the best. So what I've done is dropped a pin. That looks like it might be important. So we'll put that back in. This will be the center, so it's an elongated ornament. This will be on either end, and because my pink is lighter, I decided to use more blue than pink. Really doesn't matter. You could do them all the same color. So I have 2 each cut out of these. What I'm now going to do is, if you see, it says cut out. Y'all, I've torn this craft room, which is kind of a mess, apart. And I had some fussy cut scissors. If you've all ever had them, they're really narrow blades and they're super, super sharp. And the ones I had were yellow, bright yellow. Can I find them now? So I am going to attempt to cut this out. I'm going to leave it pinned together. I'll have to move the pins from the cutout area. And what I've gathered up is a really good sharp pair of scissors, fabric scissors. These, which I don't even know where they came from. I think they might be suture scissors. And then my Cricut scissors, which are about the size of the fussy cut scissors that I can't find. And I don't think I've ever used these on paper. So y'all, let me tell you a cute little story. Get us started off on the right foot. Because y'all, I have to admit, I might have fussed a little bit that I'm not doing video today. And I love doing videos, y'all. Don't take it that way. As I shared in my earlier video, when you feel less than great, it can be kind of hard to push through. But I've done my chicken chores, I've done my cat chores, I've taken the trash to the curb. Tomorrow's trash day. And y'all, it is so foggy here, you won't believe it. But anyway, back to the funny story. So, my son, his whole life, and he'll be 40 in January, has known that I like sewing and crafts. And he always knew, unfortunately, if he had a pair of scissors or needed a pair of scissors, that he could always find them in Mom's craft cabinet. Now, I've had this craft cabinet. It was a gift from Ben's dad, I think before we were married, or maybe the first year. So, like 1981, but it actually works really well. Excuse me for wiping my nose. I love it. I love it. It's not modern. My mom had one of those like kangaroo things, and I hated that thing. It was very hard to adjust. It was super heavy, so I've kept my own. Anyway, back to the story. So he was doing some kind of a project for school, and he was little, like maybe 7, 8, I'm going to say. So he went in and got my good Fisker scissors to cut his poster board and foam board. And needless to say, I mean, I didn't punish him because I don't think the kid knew any better, honestly. But I basically had a meltdown. You've read my scissors. Do you know how much it costs? Back in the day, we used to have them sharpened. I don't know if they still do that. I generally just buy new ones when mine get really bad. So it's been kind of a running joke in the family. And I saw a meme that said, somewhere someone is calling the police because their kid used their sewing scissors on cardboard. And so I sent it to him, and he was like, I will never forget that. To this day, when my kid is here, Downstairs, I don't have any sewing scissors. I keep them up here. If he goes to use a scissor, I don't know what they're called. He'll be like, now, are these okay to cut with? I think I gave my kid PTSD over using my sewing scissors. So I hope that gave you a laugh. So what I'm going to do, I probably should start with the easiest one. Y'all know how to cut. That's why I didn't share how I was cutting things out. I think I'll start with this one. Just pin around the edges. And if you're cutting something out in the center, generally the easiest way is to fold it in half. Y'all probably know this. And give it a snip so that you can actually get your scissors into the design to cut it out. So I'm going to sit here, cut them out. Try not to fuss. And y'all, thank you for your kind comments on my video that was up on Wednesday. Wait, was it up on Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. Oh my word. I really appreciate it. I was just kind of on the struggle bus and I thought, you know, I know a lot of you are also like, how am I going to get all this stuff done for the holidays? And I wanted to inspire you to give yourself grace. So thank you for that. And I've had some of the nicest comments that I've ever received on my channel. Not everybody likes those type videos, but if I feel led to share something, I'm going to. One more thing before we get started, my shirt says, go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. It's a really cute shirt. It's a t-shirt weight, not a sweatshirt weight. And this is from Love and Faith. Now, it was from either last year or the year before, and they change their designs frequently. So I doubt you can get this one, but I always liked that Christmas song. It wasn't like Jingle Bells or Frosty the Snowman. It had a real meaning to it. So anyway, let me get to cutting. I'm trying to put it off. Stay tuned. All right, y'all. Cricut scissors, total bust, fine for paper. My suture scissors, my nursing scissors, the bomb. They're going in the super top secret sewing cabinet. So over here, y'all, I've got a lot of crap out, but my table usually has projects in progress, right? That's where I keep all my paper crafting supplies. So I wanted to separate them. I'm kind of impressed. So let me show it to you this way. So this is what this will look like. This was the hardest one, but it still worked. And this was the easiest one. And y'all, it's a little distorted because of the number of pins and it's pretty small. So, y'all, I have never used this. It's heat and bond, light sewable bonding material. So it will actually stick one piece to the ornament. Y'all, I try not to talk like a hillbilly, but I am one. So as my son said to me the other day, especially if I've been talking to family that still has a lot of Southern accent, he was like, Mother, this isn't the Deep South. Cracks me up. So what this says is, pre-wash your materials. It does say without fabric softener. I did not, my machine's just beaming up. I did not use fabric softener on the felt. I also did not pre-wash the felt. It's 100% polyester. I'm not real worried about any shrinkage. Polyester doesn't shrink. I think it'll be fine. Preheat iron to medium heat, no steam. So y'all know I have that fancy schmancy, boy, I can't speak today, iron, but I can adjust the heat and then I just won't press the steam button, so it should work. And it says place adhesive on back of material to be bonded, paper liner facing up. So let's just go ahead. Well, don't tell my son that I'm using my good sewing scissors. So this has a bunch of sheets. Let me just pull one out. Or 17. Oh, how'd he do? How's that work? Okay, there we go. Oh, Like I said, it'll probably last me the rest of my natural lifetime. So there's a paper side, and then this side, y'all, can you see that it's got like little dotsies on it, little blue dots? So that's what's going to enable it to stick. Now, I bought the light and the sewable. I did not buy the, you can glue it down. You certainly could. I want to try to applique, onto the fabric. I think it'll make a really neat thing. I think I'm going to do it one ornament at a time. So in other words, I'm not going to heat and bond them all on because it is light, and probably if you bend the fabric or rub it up against something, which I will, trying to turn it to go all the way around an ornament, it would probably come loose, and you don't want that. Once you've stuck it on the back of this, then you want to go ahead and, for 2 seconds, let it cool, and then cut away the excess. So I'll cut a square, and then I'll just cut away the excess. Then you peel off the paper liner, place it on your project, if you will, and you want to hold it for 6 seconds on each section, which these are tiny, so just once. And then it says times are listed for cotton, add additional 2 seconds for thick things, and then you can hand or machine sew, and you could certainly hand embroider this. Before we can actually move on to the heat and bond, one of the things I'm going to have to do is I'm going to lay this out on the floor. I'm going to reposition the camera, and we need to add the rickrack. And I will share with you one of the reasons I wanted to do this project, and one of the things I'm trying to do this year is to make things with meaning, whether it's meaning from pleasant childhood memories or things that are actually from my mother, because my dad didn't sew, right? So this rickrack, y'all are going to laugh, is it's at least 50 years old, and I would say closer to 60. So back in the day, my mom always liked blingy things. I remember she made a dark blue, like a dark royal blue maxi dress that had a V-neck, and she put this rickrack around the V-neck and on the sleeves. And I found this when I cleaned her home out, and I was like, I don't know what I'll ever use it for. I'm not particularly a blingy person. My mom even had blingy gym shoes, if you can believe that. However, I did want to use it, so now I've come up with something. The other thing, y'all, if you have an edge when you are using an adhesive backing that doesn't stick real well, this fabric fuse, it's kind of pricey, but it works really, really well. When I'm doing a difficult project, and I probably should have used it for the Frankie fringe, and if y'all don't know what that means, Frankie loves the fringe on a tablecloth, and the way my table is made, it's glass top and there's a piece of wood under it. He likes to lay on the wood underneath and play with the fringe. It doesn't hurt anything, but so that's Frankie fringe, and thank you, Jane, for that suggestion. So let's reposition, lay this out, and I'm a little bit on the struggle bus, y'all, but I'm going to get down on the floor, and I'm going to show you, pardon me, how many times I can hiccup. My hiccups are way better, guys. Way better than when I was on the Trulicity. All right, guys, stay tuned. Yeah, I have to laugh because one of the things on Girl World, and I won't go off on a Girl World tangent, is having certain angles, like if you put the camera above yourself, filters, which I have an iPhone. iPhones don't have filters for videoing, at least not installed on the phone where an Android would. So I am not trying to make myself look skinny. However, y'all, let me tell you something. I am down about 18 pounds. And somebody noticed the other day, and I'm really glad. But y'all, I am still way heavier than I've ever been in my life. And this all started back when I started having all the spine surgeries and developed lupus because I'm less active and I haven't adjusted my diet. Just being honest with you. All right, so how did I decide placement? Well, I folded it in half, I put a pin. So this one will go right in the middle. Oops. Y'all, I didn't want to take the pins out quite yet. They're so floppy with the centers cut out. So let's just say maybe this will be the lowest one because we need to determine the length of our rickrack. Or as my sister called it when she was little, the wick-wack. All right, so I'm going to do a blue here and a pink here. Now, I cut these double so I don't have the other two. So what I think I'm going to do to try to get them as even as possible is let's fuss with the fringe. And I left out my cutting boards, my self-healing cutting mats, I guess you would say. We can put it all over here so we can see the numbers. And then, yeah, this is a little low. I don't want quite that low. So if I'm going to go in this order, need to get this right on the bottom edge. So the top of this is at 9.5 inches. So, wait. And I noticed there was a pin in this. Y'all got me my cheater shed. Y'all, I'm totally joking when I say that. I don't think about it when I'm at the store. I just don't. But when I'm doing detail work, I do have trouble seeing up close. I wear monovision contact lenses. So this eye's for reading and this eye's for distance. I probably just need my eyes checked, just saying. So I actually, because this is an even size, really don't have to measure this on both ends. Where's Miss... Okay, don't need scissors. You know, I kind of like the slimming look from above. Okay, so I'm going to start it up here, but I want to end it before it would get to the open area. So let's cut one of these. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to put a lot of different things on the stereo. So I'm going to cut 2 of these, same length. So I think one of the reasons I enjoy crafting is it's kind of anything goes. You can do whatever your heart desires, really. And you don't have to follow the pattern instructions. You can just be original. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll cut 2 of those. And I did buy more rickrack, which I don't need for this project, but I may need it for something else, you know. Rickrack, shiny rickrack's pretty. So... and then we'll do our final measure. We just need one of these. And that's it, guys. And you know, when you have a swollen thumb, your thumb gets stuck in the scissors, so kindly just ignore that. So let's wrap this back up. Old Mom could have made a lot of blingy clothes out of this. You know, I think at the holidays, when you've lost loved ones, you really miss them more. I do. It was just a me thing. Because it was a time, at least in our family, that we were all together and we had lots of fun. When I used to have Thanksmas, I'd have a huge spread. And my mom would make rolls, and for my son, pecan pie. and everybody would pile in, you know, whenever. We don't have a huge family, but we had a bigger family than I've got now. And we always played games. And I would have goofy prizes. Not like white elephant gifts or whatever they call them. You know, something little, probably from the dollar store. But people were like crazy for the prizes. The other thing I would do, if y'all are looking for some ideas, I printed off pictures from previous Thanksgivings where people were like, you know, had a funny expression. So I picked the worst of them and I posted them. I still have it all. I'll have to show you sometime, on a 12 by 12 white sheet of scrapbook paper, and pasted them up on various doorways. And one of the contests was to write the funniest caption. And I still have my dad's funny captions, and I will never get rid of those. So a couple ideas for you. Another game we played was whoever could draw the best turkey, and you put a sheet of paper on your head, and you're supposed to draw a turkey, but most people went around their hands, you know, the kindergarten way of doing a turkey. My sister always won that game because she's very artistic. All right, guys, let me get this pinned down. Decide what kind of thread I'm gonna, because I'm gonna sew this down first before we start bonding anything, because I want the cut edge to be under the ornament. So here we go. Maybe. Well, let me get it. I'll have the rickrack pinned down. I decided to use like a light gray thread. So let me get my, I'm just going to use a seam because that's basically what we're going to do. And there you have it. Fancy smancy. We are ready to sew. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Husqvarna Epic Designer 2, it is Wi-Fi enabled. You can get updates through it. It is a wonderful, very expensive, but wonderful machine. All right, now I've got my heat and bond instructions right here. I don't know how well you can see this, but I have the two pink ornaments pretty side down, which it's pretty much the same both sides. I've cut a piece of heat and bond. Paper side is up, and it says medium heat, no steam. So I've turned my iron down, allowed it time to cool, and we're just going to press 1,000, 2 1,000, and over here 1,000, 2 1,000. Oops, and don't hit the steam button like I did. Now, I already knew this. Where there's no fabric, I'm gonna get heat and bond sticking. You could put a tea towel down. My ironing board cover needs washed anyway. So let me peel this up. So this is what you have. So this is going to need to be trimmed away. Honestly, it gives so much stability. I may not trim it away. I may just leave it on there because it isn't going to hurt anything. So what it says is let this cool. And it takes a minute. Oh, yeah, I probably should have used a tea towel. But y'all, it'll come off. It didn't even stick that much with 2 seconds. Okay. Yeah, it's coming off. It looks pretty cool now. I am going to go ahead and cut them apart. What it says is to peel off the paper backing. So, let's see if we can get it started. Yes, we can. Maybe. Let me get the paper. All right, y'all. When all else fails, read the directions. You're supposed to cut away the paper. I don't know how, but it really, really helps. So this is what we're left with. I'm going to place it where I want it. And now we need to do our 6-second press. Let me just... Okay, it says maybe 8 seconds. So let's just try 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 7, and 8. And yeah, that didn't stick at all. So that might not, maybe I don't like heat and bond. Oh, Lord. Help me, Jesus. Okay, don't do that. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to stick. Okay, said don't use steam. Quit using the steam. Okay, so the heat and bond thus far has been a bust, but why? Okay, it's stuck a little. You know what, guys? I'm going to turn up my iron, let it heat up a little more, and then we'll try it again. I'm not ready to give this up, but isn't this cute so far? So the gray thread was a really good choice. You have to look very closely to even see the thread. I had thought about trying metallic thread, but I didn't have silver, which isn't surprising. I never have what I need, it seems like. So let's let this heat up just a little bit more. I've turned it up to medium high, and then I'm going to try pressing it again. All right, y'all. So the directions, which might be suitable for like a really lightweight fabric of, you know, medium heat, no steam. I found that did not work for me. For the insides, which I don't really plan to embroider the inside, I just want to leave it like it is. I could put in some fabric glue if it seems like it doesn't want to stay. I think once I get the outside appliqued, it's going to be just fine. So I'm trying to let this cool a little bit, but it is very well stuck. I don't want to pull at it. And I just went around and around. That worked the best for me. If you've used heat and bond light sewable, drop me a comment below. What am I doing wrong? So yeah, it's not so good that I let that sticky get all over my ironing board cover, but you know, that's reality. So what I did to make it a little easier is I left a little tab at the top, and it just peeled off beautifully. I don't know why I was on a struggle bus before. So let's stick this one down. And again, this fringe. Oopsie. Yeah, don't do that. I used a little bit of steam. I found that worked the best for me. And then I'm kind of working into the points. This one was, I would say, the most intricate of the cuts. And you could totally cut the star out. You can't see what I'm doing. Of another fabric and sew it on if you, or fuse it on, if you're not really interested in cutting it out. I can see that that would be much easier, but I thought this would be kind of cool. All right, y'all. So that one looks like it's stuck. I'm going to repeat the same process with the 3 remaining ornaments, and then we'll get to applique. All right, y'all. All fused. I think it turned out really cute. You know, I could have done the blue here and alternated, but I like it the way it is. That's what I chose to do. I did end up taking all of the heat bond out of the centers because I did not like the way that it looked after it cooled. It showed. So there's a little bit left here, but you know, we'll work on that as we go. So I'm going to take a little break, just be a second for you, and then we're going to start figuring out how we're going to embroider these beautiful ornaments down onto our table runner. All right, y'all. One of the things I like to do when I've spent as much time on a project as I have on this one, and I'm making it up as I go, is to take some of the scrap leftover fabric and to try and see if the stitches are actually going to work for this application. So the Husqvarna's pretty spiff here. You can mirror. So if you want the straight line on the left and the and the jump over on the right. This is a common applique stitch. You can do that. I would want it this direction. You can adjust the stitch length, which is this number, the stitch width, so how far over is it going to go? And with those big holes in the middle of our project, I'm not really sure if this application is going to work. So what I'm going to do here is just give it a try and see, does it bunch up? Would it be better just to add edge sew around it all? So is what I selected the right distance? And let me just run this through a few. So it's not bunching up, which is a good sign. And the Husqvarna does have a cut feature. So let's take a look here. So that is actually pretty perfect. So it's 3.5 millimeters in, and the distance between is 4.5. It looks a little smaller than that, but it may be because it's hard to guess with your eyes. So, y'all, this is like the project that never ends. Let me grab our table runner stereo scarf, and I'm going to start going around using this stitch. For the cutouts, I will probably use a straight stitch because there's going to be just too much turning, because there's very sharp turns like in a star shape. I'm going to bore you with continuous sewing because this is going to go pretty slow. But yeah, this seems like it's going to work just fine. What I don't want to do is use more than one method. Let's go back. Okay. And we have to turn. And I like to keep my threads trimmed. And if you see me throwing them on the floor, yes, that's what I'm doing because my trash can is overflowing. And I need to do some cleanup work when we finish this project. So let me get these all stitched down. I'm using a blue here, and then I will choose a light pink for the light pink ornaments. All right, y'all. May look a little holiday confused here because I still have my Thanksgiving up because it's not Thanksgiving yet. But I have to tell you, I am super pleased with how this came out. So let me tip you down. And y'all look how pretty it is. Now, the pom-poms are a little bit of a pain to get them all going the same direction. And they also can have a tendency to get stuck together. But the applique was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And I'm not going to completely share my plans, but I do have a vintage ceramic Christmas tree with all blue lights that I'm going to place here, along with some vintage style little houses that light up. I think it's going to be just lovely. So yeah, for right now, we're going to have Christmas and Thanksgiving coexisting. So, I apologize. It took me 2 videos to get this done. I just have to tell you, this was like a whole thing. And before somebody asks, hey, would you be willing to make one for sale? The answer to that is no, because I would have to charge you $1,000. I'm being facetious, guys. But this was truly a labor of love. I had a vision in my head. I could see something like this in my grandparents' or even my parents' home. And I hope it'll be around for decor for many years to come and maybe passed on to my son. Maybe I can help him understand that seasonal decorating is good. All right, guys, I plan to see you this weekend, Lord willing. Y'all, we are having a big change in weather today. The high was like 54. We're going down in around 30. Let me just say it that way. And it's going to start snowing. The wind is crazy right now. It said 20 to 30, but upstairs it's whistling away. Good day to stay inside, to stay warm. I may be making something in the crock pot tomorrow because it'll be our first official snowing day. So do me a big favor, drop me a comment below. Would you consider spending the time to make yourself a custom runner in the fashion or style of your choice, or is that just too much work? If I would have known how long it took, I might have had a second thought about it, but I'm very pleased with the end result. So until I see you again, please go ahead and smash that like button and be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.